What's up everybody, today we're taking a look at the updated and slightly reworked Cinderbrew Meadery. Going over important trash abilities and boss mechanics. First of all, profession stuff. A cooking profession buff requires 25 in alchemy or cooking to unlock it. Sticky honey, 5-yard AoE that reduces haste by 15%, movement speed by 80% for 9 seconds, and this debuff works on both players and trash, so be careful. You can easily do a big pull and smash this down and just dispel the tank. If you wanna, there's also an engineering buff after the first boss towards IPA. Mechanomes, gnomes, goblins, and engineers with 25 skill can unlock this, giving you Flame On! Big flamethrower cone that deals 1% max HP per sec and disorients them. So again, something you can utilize for a big pull. Starting off with notable trash before the thirst boss. Keep an eye on Chef Chewy. Patrols the area and buffs any allies near him, increasing their damage by 15% and makes them immune to all crowd control, so it interrupts. So you might not want to pull this together with a lot of other mobs. Also has an AoE knockback, so pull him back. Make sure to interrupt Ventrico Pyromaniac's Boiling Flame, deals a lot of damage over its channel. Also casts Erupting Inferno on a random player. This player gets a circle around them, dealing damage to anyone inside it, which can be dispelled. Otherwise just spread. The Hired Muscles Volatile Keg deals damage to everyone and applies a nasty dot, so healers beware. They also throw chairs, which is just plain rude. You wanna beware of tasting room attendants. When you aggro them, they drop their drinks. Also, their Cinderbrew Toss Swirls deals damage and disorients you if hit. Lastly, make sure to clear out all hostile NPCs before pulling boss, or you will ninja pull during intermission. For boss, Brewmaster Alder, Keg smashes tanks, dealing high physical damage and knocks them back. This also spawns hot honey puddles, reduces movement speed and deals damage if you stand in them. Avoid tanking right in front of the bar as you don't want any puddles there. The boss will also target a random player with Blazing Belch, Big Frontal Cone. Throw Cinderbrew deals a high amount of damage to the group over 9 seconds and spawns more puddles. At 66 and 33% health, Happy Hour starts. Yarr! Boss takes 99% reduced damage during this. While thirsty, each patron deals damage to the entire group and reduces your haste. Thirsty patrons can be found here, or at each table around the room. You just need to click a drink and move close to a patron to quench their thirst. Serve them all and the phase ends. When this happens, 2 barroom brawls break out, slowly moving across the room. If you get hit, you get stunned and take a ton of damage, so avoid joining the bar brawl. Otherwise, it's just rinse repeat. Following the first boss, you can either go for a beer or a bee, IPA or Benk Buzzbee. So in no particular order other than I feel like having a beer, notable trash before IPA, more pyromaniacs with boiling flames to interrupt. Make sure to interrupt Flavor Scientist Rejuvenating Honey, big heal over time, which can be dispelled. Very important that you keep an eye out for their failed batch. Spawns an explosive brew. Prio nuke this down, it needs to die within 10 seconds or everyone gets a real nasty dot. Taste testers spill their drink and enrage, increasing their damage by 100%. Soothe if possible, stun, knock, etc. to delay their cast. Otherwise, interrupt their free samples. They're not great. And the Careless Hop Goblin. Fixate and charges towards players. Make a charge into a wall near you so you don't lose too much uptime. Also spawns 2 brew drop ads, and these drop a huge patch of brew on the ground when they die. Don't stand in it, so careful where you kill them. Now as you get to IPA's room, start by pulling trash out of it for a bit to avoid ninja pulling extra trash, as there's a lot of them everywhere. Clear out everything and IPA spawns. Tanks once again get smacked with a high fist attack that knocks you back, bottoms up, uppercut. And during Spouting Stout, everyone takes ticking damage over 8 seconds and tons of swirls spawn, some of which spawn brew drop ads. These are always orange and spawns around or near boss. If one reaches the boss, it gets consumed and boss gains a 10% absorb and everyone takes a ton of damage. So tanks, be ready to constantly kite the boss. Now as soon as the orange swirls spawn, start moving boss and it will eventually follow. These ads can be crowd controlled, so slow, stun, root, etc. But when they reach full energy, they gain 200% movement speed, but they can still be stunned. So you want to make sure to nuke him down while never letting them reach boss. When they die, however, they turn into puddles but will respawn after a while, but only one time per ad. Now, if possible, you want to nuke him down roughly at the same time so they respawn at the same time, making them easier to control. And just keep kiting. So moving on to the other side, and I apologize ahead of time. So the Royal Jelly Purveyor, make sure to interrupt their honey volley, deals damage, but more importantly slows your movement speed by 70%, which makes dodging everything here a lot harder. So you might end up in a really sticky situation. The Venture Co. Honey Harvesters cast Beeswax, deals near lethal damage and stuns you. They also cast Swarming Surprise, which increases damage taken by Swarming Surprise. Worker Bees flies and stings players with a stacking bleed. Also cast Final Sting at low health, kill him before it goes off, or reset the cast with stuns, incaps, etc. Now the Bee Wranglers cast Bestial Wrath, and no, that's not my pun, and it enrages itself in nearby bees, increasing their damage by 25% for 15 seconds, so make sure to interrupt this or they be buzzin'. Also targets a player with Beesuka, dealing damage to anyone within the line. Now for the third boss, Benk Buzzbee. Throughout the fight, boss spawns 3 honey barrels that attracts ravenous cinder bees every 30 seconds. Goal is to defeat the bees and ride them into the barrels to avoid getting overrun by more bees. These can be tanked but will fly to random targets, applying a bleed with shredding sting. And on top of this, tank will get marinated by boss, deals a high amount of fire damage to any player within the 6-yard circle, but more importantly, it buffs any bee that gets hit, increasing their haste by 50%. They heal every second and they cannot be crowd controlled anymore. The debuff also spawns a nasty puddle on the ground, so you want to try to place these puddles out of the way or along the wall, but also make sure no bees are in it, either by kiting or just stunning the ads so you can move away. After defeating third boss, you can beeline straight up to the boss and do one more trash pack, the Yes Men. You want to focus down one of these at a time. Killing one heals all remaining Yes Men and promotes them to Ascent Blokes. Focus down one and the rest turns into Agree Gentlemen. And lastly, Concur, sir. Each time they get promoted, they deal 30% more damage, so the last concussor slaps. And don't stand in their downward trends, it is very bad for you. Now time for Goldie Baron Bottom. At the start of the fight and following each intermission, boss fills the room with barrels. 4 of these will be big volatile barrels. You can break barrels with either the tank cone, cash cannon, or players targeted with burning ricochet. Breaking small barrels just sends out waves in 4 directions. However, breaking a big barrel applies a stacking dot on everyone, so you want to avoid breaking multiple big barrels at the same time in quick succession. When intermissions start, all the remaining barrels break. So what you want to do is simply have your tank be the one that clears all big barrels with the frontal, and healers, DPS, can clear small barrels with burning ricochet. Tanks get 3 cones per phase 1, leaving you with 1 big barrel that blows up when intermission starts. And intermission itself is just a metric ton of group-wide damage, so make sure to pop defensives, consumables, just live. And yeah, it's rinse repeat after first intermission. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or tips and tricks for the dungeon, or want to help support my channel. Check out my Patreon, Twitch, or YouTube membership. You can gain access to these Stankie Discord, shoutouts and videos, virtual high fives, and don't forget the usual stuff like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next dungeon guide.